Hello, my name is George English. I'm the Director of Research Through People. And what we try and do with these videos is give you an idea of what people may have lived through in the past with your ancestors. Now, what we're going to do today is take the English county of Lancashire. If you live in England, you may be quite familiar with Lancashire, but you may live the other side of the world. And what we're going to do, of course, is focus on Lancashire in times gone by. And hopefully I'll give you an idea of what life may have been like for your ancestors. Now, Lancashire is all sorts of things, a very historic county, lots of pros and cons, very much a feature of the Industrial Revolution. And it's very interesting how many of the big inventors and inventions were done by people from Lancashire. Hargreaves, Arkwright, Crompton may well be names that you remember from school. Now, excellent scenery in Lancashire, peaks, lakes, particularly to the north, the Lake District, a long coastline with features that go with that. Cities, towns, villages, the cities of Manchester and Liverpool, very well known, a lot of big towns around there, and then some very quaint, picturesque villages. Food is always interesting, and if you mention to locals hot pot, black pudding or Eccles cake, they will certainly identify with Lancashire. Sport's always been a very big feature, whether it's cricket, football, rugby, other things. The Beatles, I don't think I need to say any more. Very interesting how many of Britain's top comedians have come from Lancashire. George Formby in the past, Eric Morecambe, Peter Kay. So this is the sort of thing your ancestors will have lived through. Now, what's happened in history in Lancashire? So if we look at a map of England, the Industrial Revolution was the big thing that happened from the 18th century onwards that your ancestors will have lived through. We will certainly come across things related to that. And basically people left the country and went to the towns. And Lancashire was very much a place where industry developed and where people came to from other areas. Now, the British Empire, people left England and went, and Britain and Scotland went round the world, America, Australia and so on. And so people from Lancashire may have done. You may be living in America, Australia, and have ancestors from Lancashire that you'd like to know more about. And a big feature in the mid-1800s was the Irish famine, 6 years of potato blight, and a lot of Irish people left. A lot of people came across to places like Liverpool as well as many other places. So this may have affected your ancestors. So what I want to do is just take a couple of examples, little bits and pieces. Here are the crab trees. So here we are, very much Oldham, just outside north of Manchester. So Roy Crabtree, born in Oldham, marries Olive, who's born there and so on. Now Roy's parents, John's from Ashton, very near Oldham, and his mother Elizabeth from Oldham. Going back in time, again Oldham, John Crabtree and Anne Butterworth. Interestingly enough, James Crabtree, father, came from Yorkshire, just over the border in Hebden Bridge. Now, we want to look at a couple of things here. So John Crabtree had John Crabtree the son, but he also had an elder son, Isaac Crabtree. And let's look at the occupation. Now here we are, 3 generations of iron moulders. And of course iron was a vital feature in those days to build the trains, the machines and so on, the ships and so forth. And so the Crabtree family was very much involved in that basic product that fed the Industrial Revolution. Particular feature about Isaac Crabtree, he became the mayor back in the old days, and so there, okay, it wasn't just an industrialist, someone became a very important figure locally. And we can go back in time, we can get old photos. So here's a photo of Oldham in days gone by. So that's already a little bit of a flavour of what your Crabtree ancestors went through, if they were your ancestors. And of course, we get various documents we look at. So here is John Crabtree marrying Elizabeth Ratcliffe in 1913 in Oldham, and the sort of information we get on the marriage thing is the age of both couples, a little bit older, 29 and 34. There's John Crabtree, a moulder. She, a ring spinner, so she's working in the textile industry. Again, a very big feature of Lancashire in the past. We get where they live, we get their parents and what they did. So John is a moulder. John Ratcliffe, a blacksmith. They're very much involved with the sort of industry that went on at the times. Okay, let's take another figure, the Bowes family. So here's Jack, he's born in Prestwich. Going back in time, we have Arthur, born in Cheetham near Manchester. Get photos here, bringing them to life a bit more. And his parents are both from Manchester. And George had a sister, Isabella, who marries William Lee from Bolton, quite near Manchester. Here we've got the photos. Now, what's interesting, in 1873, they started K and Lee, a wholesale clothing business, so another big textile thing from Lancashire. William Lee went into partnership with his brother-in-law George Bowes, and later the son Arthur Peake went in that. So the feature with something like that is that we can find out more about the company that they work for. So Kay and Lee made men's clothing. They had factories locally in Manchester, but also over in Northern Ireland. Made self-supporting trousers, the Whit Walks, again a Lancaster person will tell you more about these in the past. They made the clothes for those. During World War II, necessity meant army uniforms and greatcoats were needed. So this is very much what Kay and Lee did. And with that sort of company, we can look at newspapers and find things that bring things to life. So here's just a little accident that's recorded in the newspaper. Polly Hepburn, she's working away, larking near the Teagle, which was the name for a hoist, and she fell through the door into the street below. Seriously. She was taken to infirmary, was unconscious, but in fact she was all right in the end. What we also get in newspapers, of course, is births, marriages and deaths. So here we are, here's the death of William Lee recorded. So already we're getting a lot of information that can add to the just basic people and dates that we may find. And going back to this, we get surprises too. So we think Lancashire, no, their father James Bowes is born in Ireland. So he's come across to Lancashire, and there's a whole story behind that as well. So different example from the early one, let's look at another one. A lot of you will have photos of your parents. So here we are, 1947, the Farleys getting married. So let's look at them in a bit more detail. There's their dad, Harold Farley, born in Blackburn in Lancashire. So another Lancashire story, what is it? Interesting enough, he marries Dorothy from Yorkshire. They move to Yorkshire. Les is born in Halifax, marries Margaret from Brighouse and so on. And it's interesting, the grandsons thought they were very much a Yorkshire born and bred family, just 100 years later. It's amazing how often and how quickly information is lost unless it gets passed on, and we can dig it up. Now what's interesting going back in time, so Harold's born in Lancashire, but his dad's born in Kent, although his mum's born locally, and George's dad is born in Devon. So how does that happen? Not just Lancashire, they come to Kent and Devon, and we looked and we found that in fact John Farley was a soldier in the Coast Brigade, and he got posted from Devon to Kent and then to Lancashire, and hence the story that we're telling you now. And what's interesting, in fact, the Farleys, when they knew about the Devon, the next holiday went down there and had a look at their ancestors, walked in their ancestors' footsteps. Now, we've made a lot of sorts of videos. We make ones about places. So here we are. There's a video about researching about English ancestry. Take particular places like London, Yorkshire, and then particular topics. The Industrial Revolution is very much a feature in most people's ancestry. Surnames. We found, in fact, the most popular video we've made with thousands of watches is about surnames of relationship. People ask us, well, what will I get out of this? So we made a video of people talking about what they got out of having their ancestors researched. So all of these are on the Research Through People website. Very happy to have a look at that. It'll give you a bit more flavour, and then you can get in touch with us. And very happy to hear from you. We give a free consultation because we don't know what's involved in researching your ancestors. So we get some information from you, pick up the trail, and we come back with the options that we suggest. More expensive option, perhaps a cheaper option, going further or not. And you can then make an informed decision about what you want to do. So there's contact information there. We tend to have mainly a gold, silver and bronze package tailored to what you want, but we can do specific tailoring of things that are important to you. So please feel free to get in touch, and we very much look forward to hearing from you.